Words. Look, there have only been 2 players who've had consecutive 45-point games at the age of 35 or older. Now, obviously, we switched to the NBA. Michael Jordan in 2001, Steph Curry, his last 2 outings. No one has ever done it in 3 games. Curry and the Warriors taking on the Pelicans. Spoiler alert, that would stand. Moses Moody, on the other hand, on fire. First quarter, knocking down 7 threes just in that first frame. He joins Klay Thompson and Steph Curry as the only Warriors players to make 7 or more threes in a single quarter. Then there was this. Herb Jones drives the lane, draws the foul on Draymond Green. Green doesn't care about the foul. He's going to chirp it up with a fan.
What's the fan got to do with it?
I don't really know. At one point, he called him, like, Angel Reese. The fan got a warning. Green had thoughts.
He just kept calling me a woman. Oh, it was a good joke at first. You can't keep calling me a woman. Do I look like a woman? Do I look like a woman?
She's a very good rebounder.
Yeah, for sure. But at least call Lisa Leslie was a good rebounder too. She older than me. Somebody just
Sir, if you were, you may be able to handle your emotions better. Did I say that? Is that too soon? Green finished with 8 points and 10 rebounds. Third quarter, Warriors up a lot to a little. Fast break. Jimmy Butler finds Curry. Those are the first points of his game.
Really?
Yep. He did hit a 3, because that's proof of it. Curry had 9 points, 3 assists. It's okay. They didn't need him. There's Moody wide open. Career high 32 points for him. Warriors won it 124-106.
Carry that momentum throughout the rest of the game.
I mean, the way they started, the Warriors were able to move the ball. They got the ball to Moses early in the game. He got fired. And this is why the Warriors system works so well. Everybody touches the ball. Everybody's a threat. You don't know whose night is going to be on any given Sunday. And tonight was Moses Moody's night. Steph Curry has been carrying the load. I wanted to see how the Warriors were going to take advantage of playing against New Orleans. New Orleans is one of the worst defensive teams out there. Tonight, you got to see them be athletic. They stepped up to the game. They were blocking shots and recovering. All these things happen when the Warriors come in town. They play a little bit above, a little bit more excited, try to get into the rhythm of the game, but I thought that first quarter set the tone tonight. They came into this game trying to move the ball, try to play the game the right way, and the Warriors walked away with the win because they stabilized that.
Yeah, you were right in that second quarter. Go ahead, Zena.
Oh, best part about this, first half, 58 points scored by someone named other than Steph Curry.
No.
Like, that's important, right? When you think about the fact that Steph Curry had to get his first field goal from Jimmy,
Yep.
I love that. I love the fact that they were able to get the ball moving and people involved earlier this game than we've seen in previous ones.
Yeah, Stephen Curry went in the first half. He didn't make a field goal. First time since the Rockets game last spring where he didn't do that in the second half and went scoreless there. But let's continue to talk about Moses Moody. Look, he's had some up and downs, right? We talked about his home road splits. However, he's starting to find his rhythm. We saw it Wednesday night in San Antonio. And look at this graphic right here. Most threes made by an individual in a single quarter in NBA history. He's now in the record books, folks. You got Klay, you got Kelly Oubre, you got Kevin Love. And look at Moses Moody trying to knock Stephen Curry off that list, Fezzi.
I mean, Moses has, since he came into the league, came to the Warriors, he's always played more mature than his years. Like, he has been the guy to come in and step into whatever role you want him to play. You want him to be a defender? You want him to be a knockdown shooter? Do you want him to be a ball mover? He always finds a way. And this summer, it seems like he was in that gym getting shots up because right now he is really shooting that basketball at a high clip. Says a lot about the ball movement for the Warriors. You see him coming off all these pin downs, a lot of great movement. This is his job. If he's going to start alongside Steph, he's got to be able to hit these shots so that the floor opens up for the rest of the team. And you saw the defense. They were stuck to him by glue in the second quarter. They did not let Moses Moody go anywhere without a chaperone.
Yeah, Moses Moody doesn't get too high, doesn't get too low. He's so even-keeled. And that is very reminiscent of Klay Thompson, right? Being able to just, whatever game, whatever happened the previous game, whatever he put up, coming in, ready to shoot, relocating, knowing that Steph is going to grab some attention and being able to be prepared whenever his moment was called. And that's exactly what you want to see in Moses Moody, getting that confidence and letting it now roll out onto the floor into the likes of a 32-point game career high.
Yeah, career high for threes made, career high for points, and he's going to get some Southern cooking in about an hour or two with the team dinner, man. Joints feel good. I'm telling you the food
food. My
Grease
joints.
does not help my joint.
No, but I'm saying the food down there. I don't know.
Yeah,
I need to go down there. These joints, Ponte, I can feel something. My joints. Is that what?
There's a little
You
lubrication.
take a play off, man. I want to talk about Jimmy Butler's night for the Golden State Warriors. As you guys mentioned, he got Steph going early in the third quarter with that bucket there to say, hey, Steph, get on the board here. But Jimmy's had a fine road trip. 18 points tonight, 6 of 8 from the floor. He's hitting the three. He messes around and drops a double-double, Fezzi.
Jimmy Butler he's been just a professional. He is consistent every game. He's making plays. This is a game where he did a lot of his damage in the paint, kind of around their rim. He's moving, he's creating shots for other guys. I love that when Steph comes out the game, Jimmy Butler is the guy that takes over the offense. He's taking over with the ball in his hands. He's making plays. Like right here, you see him jumping the passing lanes, getting out there, getting a few open shots. Matter of fact, one of the big plays going into halftime was a steal that Jimmy got, breaking up plays because it seemed like New Orleans was starting to get some momentum in the first half. And you know all the time we talk about going into halves, ending quarters, how important that is. Well, you've seen Jimmy Butler use his defense to create some of that momentum too.
And what an example he was setting for the likes of a Will Richard, for the likes of Moses Moody, of the consistent running. Jimmy Butler was the one when Draymond Green had that full court pass. He was running out all the way, beat his defenders. One of the oldest guys out on the floor. We're talking about an incredibly athletic team in New Orleans, and Jimmy Butler's winning the foot race against them in a full court sprint. This is exactly what you want to see out of Jimmy Butler, just continuously using his athleticism to beat his defender and best his defender. We saw some ISO plays as well, but that's what you need sometimes to stabilize your offense when Steph is out, and that's what Jimmy brings.
A very efficient night for Jimmy Buckets, his second double-double of the season. And then we move along to Brandon Podziemski. San Antonio, he really showed up and showed out, and he continued that tonight. Solid night for Pods. 19, Zena, 8 of 13 from the floor, 3 made threes. He's starting to figure out his role. Look, he started, he's come off the bench, but he's getting his minutes, and now he's starting to get buckets.
Woo! The footwork from the young man is beautiful. And what I love most, the first two clips, where'd he score, Fezzi?
Getting to the rim.
In the paint, getting to the rim. And this is what Brandon Podziemski can do so well. I love the fact that he was getting in, forcing the issue at the rim, which you need more of from the Warriors overall. But Brandon Podziemski, number one, we just talked about Jimmy Butler, 10 assists, did have 6 turnovers. Let's call that out. Guess who had?
Oh,
look at you.
0.
Look
0.
at that.
Hey,
Brandon
we
Podziemski.
celebrate that these days.
You have
Sorry.
to.
Yeah,
That's a big deal, okay? That's a big deal. 0.
All right, so Pods, as a primary ball handler on the floor, especially with Steph out, it's his job to make sure the Warriors touch the paint. He touched the paint so other guys can get more space to be able to operate. I thought he did a great job of that. He passed up a couple of three-point shots and just drove in for an open layup. That's you taking advantage, understanding the team that you're playing against. New Orleans Pelicans, they do have some athletes over there, but they are not disciplined. And he did a great job of creating opportunities for his other teammates. I saw him playing in the dunker there off of Jimmy Butler. This is the team just figuring out their chemistry. This is one of the reasons why I said, Bonte, I do not react to anything before 10 games because you're still trying to figure out your lineups. You don't know how guys are going to play together. Now the team is starting to catch some chemistry. Now they're starting to get some rhythm together. And you can see Brandon Podziemski having that rhythm with Jimmy. You can see him having that with Moses Moody. And you can see him having that with Will Richard.
How important is it for a player to know his defined role? Because Pods was starting one game, coming off the bench one game. Now Steve Kerr said, I'm rolling out Will Richard and Moses Moody to start alongside the big three. Pods is going to come off the bench. However, played 29 minutes Wednesday night. Played crucial fourth quarter minutes Friday night, and tonight he had 26 minutes. But now he knows, right? Doesn't that help a player to knowing that I'm going to come off the bench as a 6th or 7th man? I'm just going to play my game.
It does help. Consistency helps players. Here's one thing I've heard everybody, not just Coach Kerr, I've heard other players describe Brandon Podziemski as a basketball player. They don't say he's a shooting guard. They don't say he's a point guard. He's a basketball player. That means you make plays no matter the situation. You know how to adapt. You know how to react. And that's what you see in him. If you need him to go get rebounds, you've seen him get double-doubles with rebounds. You've seen him get assist double-doubles. You've seen him make plays, get charges. I've seen him. He got a big charge the last game against the Spurs. Tonight, stopping plays, being out there, those are things that as a
Warriors Nation, gather around because today we are celebrating something that does not happen often in the NBA. Today we are witnessing history from inside our own locker room. We are living through a moment that future generations of Golden State fans will look back on and say, I remember exactly where I was when this happened. And the craziest part? It didn't come only from Stephen Curry. It came from his teammate, from a player so many people have labeled as a role player, a journeyman, a shooter for hire. But on this night, Buddy Hield carved his name into the walls of NBA history. Tonight, we talk about legacy, we talk about longevity, we talk about skill, work ethic, and the rare shooters who transcend the game itself. And Warriors Nation, today, Buddy Hield officially joined that list. During the Warriors' convincing 124-106 victory over the New Orleans Pelicans, Buddy Hield quietly did something thunderous. He knocked down 3 three-pointers. Just 3. But those 3 shots didn't feel routine. They weren't just numbers in a box score. They didn't just help secure a comfortable win on the road. They placed Buddy Hield among the greatest shooters in the history of basketball. With that 3rd three-pointer, Hield moved into 15th place on the NBA's all-time list for made three-pointers, passing none other than Celtics champion and basketball icon Paul Pierce. Think about that for a moment. Paul Pierce, a Finals MVP, a Hall of Famer, a generational scorer, and now Buddy Hield sits ahead of him. And not only that, he is now staring directly up at Kyle Lowry and Kevin Durant on the leaderboard. That is the level he has reached. That is the company he keeps. For years, Buddy Hield has been one of the most underrated, overlooked, underappreciated long-range marksmen in the league. The stats have always hinted at it, but the recognition never quite matched. Before this season, Hield owned a career three-point percentage hovering around 40%. That is elite territory. That is sacred territory. That is the threshold only true snipers consistently maintain. Curry sits at 42.3%. Hield was at 39.6%. And yet for his entire career, he has been described as just a shooter, just a role player, just a guy who spaces the floor. But shooters like Buddy Hield don't just space the floor. They bend defenses, they force adjustments, they tilt games, they extend leads, they break runs, they demand gravity. And tonight, Buddy Hield reminded the world that even if he doesn't have the flash, even if he doesn't have the headlines, even if he doesn't dominate the nightly highlight reels, his name deserves to be on the same list as the legends who shaped the three-point era. But here's the twist. On the night Buddy Hield made history, Stephen Curry had his lowest scoring output of the season. The same Stephen Curry who has been on a historic tear across the NBA. The same Stephen Curry who scored 46 and 49 points against the Spurs in back-to-back games. That Curry. On this night, he scored only 9 points, 1 three-pointer, 1 rare off night. And yet the Warriors dominated anyway. That alone says something powerful about the depth of this roster and the evolving identity of this team. Because let's be honest, for years, the Warriors' success has depended almost entirely on Curry's brilliance. When he didn't play well, the Warriors usually didn't win. When he sat out, everything fell apart. But now in 2025, with Jimmy Butler, Al Horford, Moses Moody, Buddy Hield, and Brandon Podziemski stepping into their roles, Golden State is starting to win in ways they haven't won in a long time. As a collective, as a unit, as a team that can find production beyond their superstar. And that's exactly what makes this moment so special. On the night Curry struggled, Buddy rose. On the night Curry's shots didn't fall, Buddy reminded the world that Golden State now has more layers, more options, more weapons. He reminded the league that if you dare overplay Curry on the perimeter, if you throw traps, hedges, blitzes, double teams, and chaos at him, the Warriors have not one, but multiple elite shooters ready to make you pay. This is what championship caliber depth looks like. And let's talk about Buddy's journey. 9th season in the league, former first-round pick, never an all-star, never a household name, never the center of a franchise. Played for the Pelicans, Kings, Indiana, Sixers, and now the Warriors. At every stop, he was asked to do the same thing: shoot, stay in his role, blend in, not stand out. And still, through all the noise and all the traveling and all the labels placed on him, he produced. Night after night, season after season, three-pointer after three-pointer. People love to talk about the stars, the MVPs, the scorers, the flashy passers, the highlight dunkers. But tonight, we give flowers to the workers, the professionals, the specialists who have mastered their craft with precision and consistency. The players who have turned one elite skill into a lasting career. Buddy Hield has earned that praise. He deserves it. He is not just a shooter, he is an all-time shooter, a historic shooter, and now the numbers prove what the eye test has always hinted at. And if you think fans were surprised, imagine the emotions inside that Warriors locker room. Imagine sitting next to the greatest shooter ever, Stephen Curry, and hearing him say, "Buddy belongs on this list." Imagine the respect, the validation, the acknowledgement of a lifetime. Curry has always been vocal about appreciating fellow shooters, and tonight, his teammate earned a permanent place in that fraternity. And speaking of Curry, even though he had a quiet night offensively, his leadership was felt everywhere else. He orchestrated the offense. He manipulated space. He drew defenders like magnets. He trusted his teammates. And that trust paid off, because every time the Pelicans tried to cheat, tried to shade, tried to hedge, tried to help early, Buddy Hield was there to punish them. That is the beautiful synergy of having multiple sharpshooters on a roster. That is why this version of the Warriors can still be deadly even when their superstar has an off night. Let's also give credit to Steve Kerr. He has coached enough great shooters to know exactly how to build an ecosystem around the three-point line. Think about it. Under Kerr, we have seen Curry thrive, Klay Thompson thrive, Jordan Poole thrive, and now Buddy Hield thriving in his role. And Kerr continues to emphasize spacing, movement, off-ball screens, and read and react basketball, the perfect environment for a shooter of Buddy's caliber. This is the kind of depth the championship team needs. This is the kind of roster balance that gives Golden State flexibility. When Curry is hot, the Warriors ride the wave. When he's not, shooters like Buddy Hield, Moody, Podziemski, and even Al Horford are ready to contribute. That versatility is what wins playoff games. That versatility is what allows a team to survive the grueling 82-game season. And that versatility is what gives Warriors fans hope that this team still has more chapters to write. Buddy Hield's milestone is not just a number. It is a symbol of longevity, a symbol of discipline, a symbol of a man who stayed true to what he does best. And tonight, Warriors fans celebrate him for it. Because as much as we love Curry, and we do, this franchise's success has always depended on players who know their role, embrace it, and excel within it. Tonight was Buddy Hield's night. Tonight was the night he cemented himself in the history books. Tonight he joined Curry on the list of greatest shooters ever. And Warriors Nation, let's be clear, this team is far from done. If Golden State can play this well with Curry scoring only 9 points, imagine what happens when Curry and Buddy go nuclear on the same night. Imagine what happens when this roster gets fully healthy. Imagine what happens when all the pieces click at the same time. A season is long, but moments like this remind us why we believe, why we cheer, and why we never count out the Golden State Warriors. Warriors Nation, I want to hear from you. What does Buddy Hield's historic milestone mean for this team? Are the Warriors deeper and more dangerous than people realize? And how far can this team go once Curry, Butler, Hield, Moody, and Podziemski all sync together? Drop your opinion in the comments. Let me know what you think. And if you love Warriors Nation news, make sure to like this video, subscribe, and stay tuned for more breaking updates, reactions, and deep dives on your Golden State Warriors. Because the season is long, the story is evolving, and the best chapters are still ahead. Warriors Nation News, signing out.